Hi, everybody. Oh, it's so great to be with you. We're finally here. Welcome to the first ever Soul Shift exclusive gateway ceremony. I hope you're ready. I hope you're excited. We are perfuming together tonight. Happy equinox, happy spring. I am so thrilled to be with you. Oh, hold on, let me make sure my other camera is going to turn on for us. I did not double check that before I pushed go. Let me just make sure I got my other camera. There we go. Because I think I'll perfume with you over here when the time comes. How are you? Are you ready for spring? I'm ready for spring. Teresa was born on the spring equinox. I think that's an auspicious birthday to have. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm wearing a flower crown that we made together, well, back when we were in the classroom. I mean, this has to be 2 or 3 or 4 years ago. So if you still have your old flower crown, would love for you to find that and put that on if you're one of the OGs and you've been with me for a long time. And if you don't have a flower crown or a crystal crown or anything, you know, you just zhuzh your little self up however you like it, because today is a day to be floral and colorful and all the things. So let me explain to you what today is. So, and we still have some of the kits left. But after these sell out, this was a custom made bottle for us. So I want to explain to you what's happening. This is yellow for spring, right? Element of air. And then in June, when we do our summer ceremony, our summer gateway ceremony, it will be red, right? And then in September, when we do our fall gateway ceremony, it will be blue. And then in December, when we do our earth gateway ceremony, it will be green. And then what I'm having made for you is a custom little tray that's going to hold the 4 different colors. So every year at spring, you can bring out your anointing blend. Whenever you need air element energy, you can work with this blend. They're designed to be perfumes that you will have for a long time, right? I love it. Nitu showered and washed her hair. Honestly, girl, that's a big deal. I washed my hair for you yesterday. So anyway, I'm really happy that you're here. So this is what we're doing today. We're going to be blending our jojoba carrier oil with our neroli, which is one of my favorites. Neroli is top 5 for me all-time favorite essential oils. And if you don't know neroli, if you don't know much about it, I'm hoping you're going to fall in love with it tonight too. And then we're blending helichrysum, which literally means the gold of the sun. So if that isn't the perfect note to bring in this really powerful return to the sun energy that comes with equinox, and then Devana, which is a super upper chakra, it helps you to dream. And right now what we have to do is dream into possibility. And then the last oil that we're working with is our St. John's wort. St. John's wort is very expensive. If I had given you a full dram, so I will tell you, we didn't make any money on this kit. We basically, the $19 or whatever, I can't remember the original price of the kit, is exactly pretty much what it cost us to make this kit for you. So this kit's kind of a gift in a way, but I wanted you to have something really awesome. This is pure St. John's wort, which is an antidepressant. It balances your brain chemistry, it elevates mood, it brings optimism. So if you've been feeling kind of down in the dumps, St. John's wort essential oil, which is super, super hard to find, is what's in this little bottle. And you can choose to use all of it in your perfume tonight or just a couple drops if you want to be sparing with it and save it for when you really need an emotional kind of pick-me-up, right? I know, it was a fun little gift for you guys. And so that is what we're working with tonight. So we are blending perfume, but we're also doing ceremony. So if you don't have your tools, not to worry. If you want to grab some oils and just blend with us, I don't think you have to be working with the exact same oils that I am. So if you have something in your, in your medicine cabinet, in your apothecary cabinet, that you're like, God, I feel like I really want to blend this with that, or maybe you have neroli but you want to mix it with something else, you're totally welcome to do that too. So if you want to go and grab some ingredients, now's a good time to do that, because I'm going to spend the next few minutes kind of teaching you about equinox. Because how many of you are new to Soul Shift, and new in some ways or in any way to the work of the Wheel of the Year? And I ask because I like to cover off on the basics sometimes, and it's not to remind you of things you already know, but sometimes there are people who are new. And I'll tell you something, I love it when my teachers drill on the basics, because I feel like it's a really good reminder for me too. So if anybody's new, I would love to know. And so I do want to spend a few minutes talking with you about the energy of tonight. So I love it. So Melissa's new, and welcome in. You're so welcome. I'm excited for her tonight. Yeah, so Sherry and Miss Jade, and Kathy says she's new to this too. Christy's new to Soul Shift, but not new to SG. Super happy you're here. New to the Wheel of the Year for Peggy. Isn't this fun? And Christina G. Heidi, this is her first year in Soul Shift. So I just want to tell you, you will not feel left behind tonight because I'm really kind of going to go back to a little bit of the basics, and because I really want you to know why spring is so important. Spring is, I love summer, and I do love a nice fall. I do not enjoy a nice winter. It's not my favorite season. But I've got too much fire in my chart for winter, so I just kind of count the days until winter's gone, and then poof, we're in spring again, right? But spring is one of my favorite seasons because it brings hope. Spring brings life and hope and the possibility of, even if today is a difficult today, that tomorrow can be better and brighter. And that's what I love about it. I'm an optimistic person by nature, and I love that nature's optimistic right now. Have you noticed? Like she's pushing through, she's blooming. So I want to take a few minutes. I'm going to clear with some herbs. I'm going to burn a little white sage, and just to cleanse and clear. Technically, we're turning the wheel tomorrow, but it's very, very early in the morning, so we figured it's nice to do the ceremony the night before. You can always do ceremony if you're new, 24 hours before or 24 hours after. That's kind of the window. It's 48 hours, really, the energy of any holiday or moon phase. So you can always celebrate the day before, the day of, or the day after. After 2 days, it's kind of too late. And more than 2 days before, you're kind of too early. You know what I mean? So we thought this was the best of both worlds. I'm ready for spring. So I want you to start to come into present time. I want you to just kind of roll your shoulders back, soften, relax. This ceremony is the pre-show for tonight. So what we're doing is opening a door. And we've never done this before. It's new to Soul Shift. This is a new addition to our class. So it's an extra 4 hours of ceremony this year that is part of your fees. And we didn't even do this last year. This I kind of dreamed into being for this year. And I'm happy that I did, because normally I would be doing what I'm doing right now by myself. And because I would be preparing for everybody, right? So I would be doing kind of a gateway ceremony with my spirit guides, but I'd be doing it alone. And so my idea this year was, why don't I bring you in at 4 o'clock? You know what I mean? And let's get ready together. So I'm super, super glad that you're here. And I want you to begin to just relax and soften. I have some new fun tools that I'm going to use to also clear the energy around me. And they're just attuned to different notes. I don't know if you can hear that. So just sending some of that to you through the microphone. I'm so glad. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, these will be coming to SG at some point. I don't know when. It's probably going to take a long time. But I'm excited about them, and I'm starting to use them more and more, so you'll hear more about those soon. New fun things. Okay, so I'm going to take a few minutes to teach you. We are only going to be together for the hour, so we will be done at 5 p.m., which gives you an hour before the public ceremony, because I'm starting at 6 p.m. And by the way, remember, I'm going for 2 hours tonight, because I'm teaching a free class on crystals after our Ostara ceremony tonight from 7 to 8 p.m. I'm teaching the crystals of renewal. So if you're down for 2 hours of me after this, you're welcome to join us for the whole ceremony. I know, it's a different kind of chime. So I'll introduce these to you in a couple of weeks when they get here. We're working on them. We're working on one for each chakra. So that'll be fun for you. Okay, so let me back up. Tonight is the beginning of the spring season in the northern hemisphere, right? So above the equator. And it is the start of the fall season in the southern hemisphere, which is below the equator line. We have not very many. I think we have a dozen students in Soul Shift and Crystal Masters who are from the southern hemisphere. So I don't do a whole ceremony for both hemispheres because most of you are in the northern hemisphere. But I do give a nod and a wink and try to talk about the opposite energy because some of you are turning the wheel toward an entirely different season. Whenever we are moving toward the light, which is what's happening, right? So we are starting to see the sun rise in center sky, right? As we move toward summer and summer solstice, and then the sun will start to wane. They are doing the opposite, right? So they are moving away from the sun and toward the darkness. They're moving toward the darker season of shadow, and we're moving toward the lighter season. The next holiday after this is Beltane. Beltane in the north, the counterpoint is Samhain in the south. So when we're celebrating Beltane, which is the day of life and sex and passion, they're celebrating crossing the veil, seeing their ancestors, and getting ready for winter. And then 6 months later, when we're celebrating Samhain, they are celebrating Beltane. So it's just a flippy floppy of the holidays, but I do like to acknowledge that you guys in the South are taking the turn toward the darkness tonight, and that has its own magic. And so I'm really grateful for those of you who are here from the Southern Hemisphere. I want to give that nod to you. So let's talk about spring. You ready? Here is my take on what it means for renewal. Okay. My greatest teachers of magic have always been people who really saw magic through nature. And so I really want to impart that to you as your teacher now, because it taught me how to heal myself, learning to see magic through the eyes of nature. So what is nature telling us right now? Well, in her rain, right, she's teaching us how to cleanse. She's literally showing us that if you work with water energy and if you allow yourself to be submerged, and that you can actually rinse away and clear away anything within you that no longer serves you. And that's actually the work we're doing right now in alchemy, right? Dissolution is renewal. It is this process of taking everything from the calcination phase and immersing it in water and letting that water wash through and purify and cleanse, right? And everything feels cleaner after the rain, right? So through her rain, she teaches us about cleansing. Through her sun, through the return of the sun, she teaches us about optimism and hope and power and growth and emergence and light and everything that the sun represents, right? Direction and action and optimism and hope is what the sun represents to me. She teaches us through her new leaves. She teaches us about growth. And a lot of you have been posting pictures. It's so fun for me to see, because wherever you are in the world, like your apple trees are blooming, or your peach trees are blooming, or your orange trees. I've got orange blossoms. I've got neroli, right, happening on my orange tree. So she teaches us about growth through her new leaves. Through her flowers and her fruit, she teaches us how to manifest. It takes time and focus and dedication and fertilizer to manifest, right? So we have to water our plants and trees. We have to fertilize them, give them good food, right? And fertilizer can mean a lot of different things. You also need to be fertilized in order to bloom, right? So tonight I want you to think about, what's your fertilizer? I know what mine is. Do you know what juices you? Do you know what gets you to flower and fruit? All right. And so even if you're covered in snow right now, it's okay, because soon you won't be. And that's what tonight promises. And actually, one of the secrets of magic is learning to look outside when it's snowing and still know that spring is coming. That's the promise of today. So even if you haven't seen the first signs of life yet, and a lot of you have, but even if you haven't yet, today is the promise that that's coming, and for you to trust, right? Yeah, so this is Gaia, right, who's teaching us this, right? I walked through my garden this morning. I saw new leaves. I saw dew, right, because it was kind of drizzly and misty this morning. I saw flowers emerging and fruit that's starting to grow, right? Just the tiniest little baby figs right on the tree. So this is all coming from nature, right? Oh, I'm so glad. And then the last thing is she teaches us fertility through pollination, and in some cases just through the emergence of her fruits and her flowers. She teaches us about fertility. So if you spend enough time with nature, and I remember my first teacher told me this, and at the time I was like, no, I still need teachers. But she was like, honestly, if you follow nature, you don't need a teacher. Everything you need to know will be taught to you by nature if you pay attention. So what I'm doing today is just kind of trying to remind you and trying to inspire you and trying to bring a little bit of this energy to you so that you can start to think about where in your life this makes sense. So for tonight, as we open this doorway together, here's what I want you to think about. And we're going to do this at every gateway ceremony. This is the focus of our ceremony together tonight. There's always duality at the high holidays, at the turning points of the wheel. When we turn from winter to spring, like tonight, when we turn from spring to summer, when we turn from summer to fall, when we turn from fall to winter. And I've lost a few people this last year. If you haven't, I'm so happy for you, truly, because it's the circle of life. But both of the people I lost, who I was quite close to, it was a shock. Untimely young people, right? One to COVID, one not, and there's just people who should still be here, in my opinion. So it kind of just, you don't expect people in their 40s to be gone so instantly. But what I want to say to you about that is I'm also mindful this year of how precious each of these seasons is. Last spring, I still had both my friends and we were talking and laughing and planning and enjoying each other's company, and one of them used to come over and spend time in my garden and helped me with my plants, and was always giving me a hard time because he always said I didn't use the right fertilizer on my plants, because he was such a medicine man and he really understood plants. So he would come over and go, this one's not getting enough magnesium and that one's not getting, he just could look at my garden and tell me what was wrong with it. So anyway, I share that with you not to make you sad, but just to remind you of how precious these days are. No matter how tough it is, where you are right now, there's still so many reasons to look around and feel grateful and happy for this day, because not everybody gets to see the seasons emerge again every year. So I want to share that with you too, just to take a moment, and because sometimes, especially right now, I notice that people are not in as much of a state of gratitude, and I completely get it. When life is so hard, it's challenging to look around and say thank you, right? When life is hard. But what I'm learning as I get older is those are exactly the moments when the universe wants you to look up and go, thank you. This is hard, but thank you, and thank you for allowing me to continue to walk here and do what I do in a good way, and yeah. So yeah, and I hear you. I mean, so much loss for some of you, right? So, and that's a good reminder for you too. This is important for soul shift. You never know what somebody's going through. Even if all their posts on Facebook are happy, happy, joy, joy, sunshine, rainbows, unicorns, puppies. People don't post on Facebook most people don't. Some people do. But most people don't post on Facebook when things are falling apart. So it's really important just to walk gently, you know what I mean? Because you just never know what's going on in somebody's home or in their heart, or what thoughts are running through their mind at 3 in the morning when they're all alone. You know what I mean? You just never know. So so I see you, and I really try to hold that space for you, because I know that, and I want to celebrate with you when you're happy. When things are great, I want to celebrate with you. But I can also be here and hold it when things are tough. I've been through my own challenges, and so I know the duality. And I know it's hard to both celebrate and grieve at the same time. I know it's hard to both smile and weep at the same time. And some of us are doing that right now. So walk gently with people is my advice to you. I've never regretted being too nice to someone. You know, I've never regretted giving somebody the benefit of the doubt. I haven't regretted that. I have regretted being insensitive. I have regretted not giving people enough slack or enough benefit of the doubt. And so today, on the day of renewal, I think this is a good opportunity for you to look around your world and ask yourself, who needs just a little more tenderness? Who needs you to reach out to them and say, I just want you to know spring is here, hope is emerging, and I'm holding space for you today. And you might say, I don't have energy to give to anybody else. But you know what I'm going to tell you back? If you're choosing the path of being a healer, that path, at least in my experience, requires you to both do your work and hold the space for others. So you learn how to work your own process and do your process and your practice and be diligent and maintain and have your priorities. But it also becomes an opportunity for you to learn how to simultaneously create and hold sacred space for other people. Because if you're a healer, I think that duality is very much part of what your calling is. And it makes you stronger, right? It's true, you have to have the energy. And so Alice in Wonderland, which I love so much, kind of took the words right out of my mouth. You do have the energy to do it. You have it from your planet. You have it from your spirit guides. You have it from those 500 ancestors standing right behind you in this very minute that you can't see because their vibration is too high. But they're behind you, and they're in rows upon rows upon rows upon rows upon rows, the army of your ancestors who fought like hell to get you here. Most of my ancestors on my dad's side almost starved to death. I mean, they couldn't even get enough food to feed their children, right? Those people fought for me to be here. So for me to say, I don't have the energy, it's like, no, I do have the energy. But I have to figure out where I'm plugging in. And so for today, just for today, I want you to think about plugging into nature, plugging into the warmer days that are ahead, plugging into the flowers and the fruits. And even if the only thing you have energy to do today is pick a wildflower or enjoy a piece of fruit or something that represents nature's emergence on this sacred day, that's enough. And if you can hold a space of gratitude in your heart, I promise you, you're going to feel the shift of this moment. But it all begins with you, and it all begins inside. But you do have the strength. You got to learn where to plug your plug in, where your outlet is. And again, there are thousands of ancestors behind you going, we brought you here for a reason. And now is your time to do the work, right? Yeah, I'm holding you. Okay, so what we're going to do now, you're going to see me open circle twice tonight, but I'm doing 2 different ceremonies. So I am going to open just a quick circle for us. And you're welcome to call in the ancestors with me, or if you want to just let me do it for you, that's okay too. I'm here for you, so you don't have to do anything, honestly. You can just lay down and relax for the next half hour, which I think is quite a wonderful idea. It's your time. So I want to welcome in the guides and the guardians tonight of the 4 sacred gateways. The guardians of air, to help us shift our perspective and greet this new season, which is an air element season. We are leaving Earth. I've been so grounded. I'm so ready to fly. And if you're ready to fly too, today is the day we're opening the doorway to flight and to movement, to smoke, to air. So we greet you, guardians of the air element. We welcome you in on your day. And to the guides and the guardians of the south, we welcome you in, fire element, power, transformation, the shedding of old skin. We welcome in the sacred element of fire to help us burn through and past whatever needs to stay in the winter season, and to give us the courage to welcome and to greet and to receive what's ahead. We welcome in the guides and the guardians of the west tonight, the water gateway. We see you across the wheel. Those of you in the southern hemisphere, you are welcoming these guides tonight. You're turning toward the element of water in the south while we're turning toward the element of air, right? Everything is opposite with the wheel. And so we welcome you. This is your night tonight in the southern hem. In the northern hem, we greet you and we open ourselves to your emotional healing that you offer. We're ready to clear, cleanse, and purify. Tonight, we welcome in the guides and the guardians of the west for that work. And to the guides and the guardians of the north, we ask for your peace and patience tonight, your protection as always. We greet you with a fond and a grateful farewell as we leave your season of winter tonight, guardians of the north. Thank you for the lessons of winter. Thank you for the coziness of your season. Thank you for the slumber that those very long nights brought us. Thank you for the lessons that you taught us. And as we bid you farewell, we do welcome you into the circle tonight with gratitude. And with that, our circle is open and we are ready. We are ready, we are ready. So I have a kudu. I don't have the full animal here. I just have one of the kudu's horns. The kudu is an incredible creature from Africa. And this is one of my favorite magical tools. I don't use it very often. But it is something of a rain stick. And so we are going to do a welcoming and releasing tonight. And what I want you to do, as I point the antler up, you are choosing what you are welcoming in. And as I point the antler down, you are choosing what stays behind in the season of winter. So I am leaving behind, and you can kind of choose what this is for you. For me, I'm leaving behind a lot in winter, and I'm welcoming in a lot in spring. So if you're ready to do it, yeah, I had this antler for quite a while, and a friend and an artist who at the time was working with me at SG made this for me. It took about 3 months, but it is one of my favorite things. Okay, you ready? So I want you to give some thought. At least one thing. Now you can release a whole lot of stuff and you can call in a whole lot of stuff too, and I'm not going to judge you for it. I'm here for that. But I want you to at least let one thing be with winter tonight. And when I say leave it with winter, I mean leave it with winter. So don't go dig up that bone in 12 hours. Leave it. I feel like I'm training my puppy, right? Leave it. You ever trained a dog before? What are you going to leave behind in winter? What are you going to allow to freeze over? What are you going to bury tonight and let be in the earth? And then what are you calling in? This is the one, Nathan. You're so smart, Nathan. It is, and you have a stunning memory. What are you calling in? So I'm going to go back and forth with you right now until you're done. Let's begin with what we're leaving behind. I want to start there. I see you, Angel. I'll tell you something, Angel. I intuitively feel like if this coming year ahead, Angel, could be one of the most important and best years of your life. And I'm telling you that because I think if you can feel into that, this present moment won't have the density. You know what I mean? When we feel dense energy, it's because we can't feel the lightness of anything else. And there is a big bright light in your peripheral vision, and I want to make sure you see it, because I think that will give you the courage and the faith to see your current circumstance a little differently. And I want to encourage all of you actually to do that. If you really feel like it's dense and it's heavy right now and you can't see past it, look in your peripheral vision. Truly. Yeah. You ready? So first, let's leave behind. And let's do one thing each time I turn it, okay? So you ready to leave behind something? I'm leaving behind 10 pounds. 10 pounds goes boom. Check it before you wreck it. And I'm calling in a really good outcome of my book proposal that I submitted today. And I've been working my tail off on for a few months now. I'm leaving behind grief, and I'm bringing in joy and laughter. I'm leaving behind solitude and disconnection from the people I love, from this crazy virus. And I'm calling in big ass hugs. Like, I want awkward hugs. I want to hug you to the point where you're kind of awkwardly backing up because it's been like 5 minutes and you don't know what to do because it's getting weird, right? Like, is she gonna let me go? I want that hug. None of this like, or like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want a hug and a up your cheek. I'm leaving behind confusion, and I'm calling in clarity. So now I'm going to start reading some of yours. You ready? Leaving behind fear, Karina, calling in joy and hugs. Leaving behind loss for Cindy Conti. And calling in lightness, love, and affection for Ginny Reader. Leaving behind hermit isolation, calling in travel for Karina, right? Let's see, calling in exciting, vibrant relationships for Renee, calling in fun and playfulness for Cindy. I like that. Leaving behind feeling overwhelmed, Cherry D. I would love to hug you guys. I'm calling in a retreat. Leaving behind worry, calling in balance. Leaving behind judgment, calling in patience, right? Leaving behind reticence, calling in exuberance. That's sexy, Tawny. I like words. Leaving behind anxiety and self-doubt, and calling in self-honesty. Leaving behind pain, calling in transformation. Leaving behind being overwhelmed and judgment, and calling in leadership and unity. Leaving behind excuses and anxiety and muggle life, calling in magic. Leaving behind mistrust and calling in joy and laughter, Kathy D. Leaving behind anxiousness and calling in confidence for Carrie. You're good, Barbara. Come on in, girl. You're right on time. Let's see, leaving behind anxiety, calling in happiness, connection, leaving behind insecurities for Roxanne, for Roxy, and then calling in trust, leaving behind frustration for Leslie, and small, living small, right? Calling in loving yourself, leaving behind fatigue and grudges, calling in compassion and understanding. Feels good, doesn't it? Leave it and call it, and leave it and call it. Leaving behind worry and procrastination and muggle life, and calling in magic and flow and prosperity and confidence, new love. Embrace of sensuality. That's right, Alicia, you get it, girl. Leaving behind procrastination and negativity in the workplace, and limiting beliefs and depression, and calling in happiness, right? Leaving behind what if, and calling in doing for Anne-Marie Lambiasi. I love that. Leaving the struggle for Estefania, and becoming the abundance. Oof, yes, girl. Almost want to do that one a second time. Leaving behind migraines for Emilea, and calling in clarity. Leaving behind chaos for Andrea, and lack. Calling in walking in your purpose. Leaving the mundane. Leaving behind impatience, procrastination, comparison. Calling in your inner goddess of joy and ease and grace and sovereignty. Leaving behind stagnation for Paint Witch. Calling in magic and creativity. Leaving behind 20 pounds. Bye-bye, pounds. Bye-bye, pounds. And calling in energy and good health, and you feeling great in your body, and like you're have ease of movement, and you know. I'm leaving behind pain, and I'm calling in comfort. Let's see, what else we got? Leaving behind trauma. That's right. And calling in creativity. Leaving behind the virus. At least in its capacity to harm and separate us, right? And calling in health. And again, connection and abundance and joy and travel, confidence. Leaving behind hip pain for Melissa. And we're calling in jumping jacks. I'm going to do a darn jumping jack with you. I will do a jumping jack with you. Your hip feels better. We will find a way to go live together, and I will do 10 jumping jacks with you. Might embarrass me, but I'll do it with you. Leaving behind fear. Calling in clarity. I know, we should have a bonfire. Can you imagine going around the bonfire together? Somebody would call the police. There's a lady, hello, there's a lady with like an antler. Yeah, I think she's naked. And there's a bunch of people dancing around a fire. It just looks very unsafe. I have neighbors who would do that. No, but it's like a big antler. I mean, it's like 4 feet tall. I know. I don't know. Thank you so much. Leaving behind muggle neighbors and calling in a naked antler bonfire dance. You have neighbors like that too. Don't tell me you don't. Right? I'd like to speak to the manager. That's right. So leaving behind maybe poor eating habits, and then calling in eating well and good healthy food. Right? Not tonight, Doris. You go back to your house, Doris. Unless Doris wants to come play, I'd be like, listen, Doris, you need this more than I do, darling. Come on out here. Leaving behind negative self-talk. What are we replacing that with? Let's call in a really good, healthy relationship with yourself. Can we do that? Leaving behind childhood trauma and calling in joy, self-love, creativity, unconditional love. I like that too. I'm so glad. I'm glad it's helping you find the words. And my hope is, as you hear me or read the feed, maybe you're like, yeah, you know what? I should leave that behind too. I forgot about my childhood trauma, or I wasn't thinking about my eating habits, or yeah, you know what? I don't want to carry this pain around anymore, right? So leaving behind sadness and calling in peace, maybe, and contentment. Yeah. That's right. As you're eating a gummy bear, Tiffany Jackson. God, I love gummy bears. I really do. Leaving behind fear of surgery and pain for Janet. And calling in healing, comfort, and joy with a new opportunity to live her life to the fullest again. And I just believe that for you. I have overcome illness and pain that every doctor, including orthopedic surgeons, told me I would have for the rest of my life. So I'm telling you right now, it is possible. And I believe it's energetic. And I'm not telling you that to get your hopes up because it's not real. I shouldn't even be able to sit here in front of you. My health was not good. So, I mean, if there's a miracle for me, there's a miracle for you. There's nothing special about me. But I have faith. You know what I mean? You got to do the work. Leaving behind cigarettes. I like it. And calling in breath and air. Leaving behind dependency and calling in sacredness and dancing through the woods with each other, which I would totally do with you. Skittles for Jackie Robinson. I'm with you. I can do a nice Skittle. I like the sour Skittles, if that matters. I'll picky with my Skittles. Calling in healthy eating and a healthy lifestyle. I like that too. Right? We totally have the capacity to heal ourselves, and I believe in you. I do. If you stop believing, it's okay. You call me, I'll believe for you. Leaving behind, Cheryl's leaving behind not believing in herself. So let's call in like radical faith in you and what you're capable of and what you're here to do. Marianne is leaving behind thyroid issues. I like that. And she's calling in her authentic voice. That's right. Christina is leaving behind second guessing herself. And she's calling in following her intuition, which is that's the perfect counterpoint to that. Let's see. Marianne, leaving behind limiting self-belief and bringing in positivity. Yep. Calling in health and healthy lungs. I love that for Stephanie. Calling in independence and interdependence, Janisa. Leaving behind betrayal for Julie. Leaving behind poor self-esteem for Jessica Jones. Let's definitely leave that behind. Aren't they good to see, the wishes? I love seeing yours too because, again, we're not that different from each other, right? So I see yours and I'm like, yeah, I should probably leave that behind too. So it's okay to borrow if you're being inspired. It's okay to go, you know what? I'm going to do that one. Leaving behind illness for Joanne and fatigue and calling in health and vibrant energy. Leaving behind monkey mind. I like that one. And calling in focused purpose. Thank you, Jessica. Yvonne, leaving behind overbearing, control, and calling in freedom. For JT, leaving behind boredom, God please, and calling in abundant opportunities for fun. I'm ready for that too. Leaving behind self-sabotage, calling in self-worth, leaving behind self-doubt, calling in personal power, leaving behind stagnation, calling in ignition. I love that. Do you know where the word ignition comes from? Oh, Sanskrit. Because the word Agni is the Sanskrit word for fire. Isn't that cool? Agni, Igni, ignite. Yeah. Calling in positive mindset, leaving behind selfishness, calling in compassion, leaving fear, illness, procrastination, fear of the unknown, calling in limitless trust, leaving behind stagnation, leaving behind debt. Can you just please do that? And calling in financial wealth and abundance. Let's call in ease too, because I always find when you set intentions for abundance, it's always important to always ask for ease. Because if you call in wealth from just any direction, it sometimes can come with a burden. So you always want to ask for wealth and ease so that you have what you need, but you don't have to work so hard for it. Because otherwise, what is that? Then now you're going to be slave to some, thing that might be too much for you. So be careful with that. Leaving behind guilt, calling in prosperity with more than enough to meet all of your needs. Leaving behind tiredness, I like that too. And calling in balance, leaving behind procrastination, calling in a watering system for your garden. That's nice. I still do a lot of mine myself by hand. I need to get some sprinklers. I have some sprinklers, but some places don't have anything. I need to do that too. So I'll call in a good water system. Calling in me to dust the house and leaving behind all dust outside. I like that. Leaving behind a lack mindset, calling in a prosperity mindset, right? Yeah, you might get abundant tasks. That's exactly right, Yvonne. So you gotta be careful what you wish for. So let's call in wealth and ease, calling in sacred sexuality. Of course, I mean, you're a Scorpio, Saya. If anyone can do it, darling. Calling in wealth and ease, leaving behind financial burden. Yeah, if you're just coming in, this is a kudu antler from Africa. And the creature, I can't even show it to you. Like, can you imagine the creature? Yeah. It's a beautiful piece, and no animal was harmed in the bringing of this to me, so it's very sacred to me. Okay, leaving behind shame. Let's do that. I like that. And lack and scarcity and clutter and calling in clarity. I'm going to keep calling in ease for you guys because I just really want you to have ease. I don't think you need to work harder. Do you know what I mean? I know how hard a lot of you, most of you work between your families and the things you do and all that you balance and the demands on you, and I really don't want to see you working harder. I'd like to see you working smarter. Calling in a vacation, calling in motivation to finish your yard for Jenny. A lot of us are working on yard stuff. Calling in your other half for Julie. I love it. Calling in ease, leaving behind impurity, calling in beauty, leaving behind low self-worth and dishonesty, calling in financial security and self-love, calling in a beach getaway with a gorgeous man. Woo! I like it. Leaving behind shame, calling in self-acceptance, leaving behind disrespect, and calling in perfect love. I like that. Leaving behind infertility and bringing in a new life. I see you, Emily. Okay. That felt good, didn't it? I want to thank you all for joining me for this hour because, like I said, normally I would have done this by myself. And so this is the first year that I've invited you privately as a group to join me for pre-solstice or pre-equinox festivities. And I'm going to be doing it all year. So I'm just really grateful because it's nice not to do this by myself. Yeah. So thank you for being here. So let's send up this prayer together. Are you ready? Are you ready? Great Spirit, God, Goddess, source of all that is, all that was, and all that shall ever be. The One. We come before you today on this sacred high holiday in gratitude. We come before you today in love. We come before you today as humans, imperfect in all the ways, but as people who are trying. We come before you with humility, and we come before you with faith. As you return the sun to center sky, as you bring the fruit and the flowers to nature, we ask that you bless us with what we also seek to grow and to create. We ask that you help us leave behind in the season that we are releasing tonight. We ask you to help us leave behind what cannot travel easily with us into this next new season. We ask that you help to heal our hearts in the process as you see us grieve what must be released tonight. And we give thanks. We give thanks for the prosperity, the joy, the health, the freedom, the ease that's already on its way to us right now in the season ahead. And we vow to hold the faith and keep the faith. Do you vow to hold the faith and keep the faith? Even when we doubt and when we're unsure, we vow to move in faith. Are you ready? Together we say, Amen, Aho. And so it is. Amen, Aho, and so it is. So thankful, thankful, thankful. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you to this divine, beautiful universe. It's weird sometimes, and it's not always easy, but it is pure magic. It is absolute pure magic. Ooh. And with that, my darlings, we have opened the gateway to spring. And we have released to winter what we cannot carry forward. And that's still hard for me. But it's right. All things in their time. Mm-hmm. So I see you. I see you in the moments where you even have a challenge, right? Doing the same thing. Okay. So the ceremony is complete. I'm going to bring you here. Ooh. I'm actually going to just have you on this altar for now. Hold on, let me get this straight for you. I don't want to make you nauseous. It's not really straight. There we go. Oh, that's good, actually. Look at that. Okay. Now, this is our bottle. These are our oils. And I want to talk to you just really briefly. Thank you guys so much, by the way, for seeing me too. Comes in waves, grief does, you know. Most days I'm okay. Unfortunately, with my friend, they're not doing a funeral or a ceremony. It doesn't seem like so. I really hope there's a chance for me to pay my respects in a way that will help me. Okay, so you have 4 oils, darlings. And so as you blend, I want you to think about what you're feeling connected to. You don't have to use them all. Neroli is pure orange flower, absolute. Just the flowers. And so it's very sweet, like honey, and it actually attracts money, it attracts success, and it creates ease. So I'm going to tell you what, this, for me, the whole bottle is going in. You do you, okay? But neroli is my jam. It's one of my favorite oils on the planet. This is Egyptian, but neroli comes from lots of different parts of the world. So I don't have to smell it to see if I like it because I work with neroli all the time, but smell it first and, and then you can sort of judge. Actually, I don't need the whole bottle because I do want to leave some space for some other oils. So it looks like I used about 3/4 of my bottle, right? Yeah. Okay. And then just take a nice deep inhale there. Neroli is going to uplift you. It's going to enhance your mood. It's going to bring joy. And like I said, there's a sweetness to it. It kind of has the same energy like honey. Okay, so it's going to draw energy to you. It's going to attract energies to you. Do you love it? I'm telling you, it's one of my favorite things in the world. And what's also cool about neroli, remember this, it blends beautifully with anything. I've never tried something plus neroli that was bad. So you kind of can't make a mistake when you're working with neroli. Okay. The next oil that I'm going to have you work with or connect with, that's very important for today, is Helichrysum. Helichrysum comes from the Greek word helio, right? Heliodor, which means sun. And then the word chrysos means gold. So this is the gold of the sun. It has been prized for thousands of years, and I'll tell you something, it's a great anti-aging oil. It's a nice counterpoint to your neroli. It's not strong, right? But it gives you the energy that you need, and if you want the energy of the sun, which is very opening and very healing to the solar plexus, if you're like me and your solar plexus is a mess, this is going to be a great one for you to work with. So I'm adding some, not too much, but I do want the energy of Helichrysum in here. That's perfect. I've added about a quarter of what I had. And then the rest of this, guys, get yourself, you ready? Get yourself some rosehip seed oil and add the rest of this dram to it. Right here, the nasal labial lines, right here where you start to get fine lines and wrinkles, your neck and the tops of your hands, twice a day. That's your older sister tip of the day. So don't get rid of that Helichrysum, because that's your new best anti-aging tool. And then the next oil is Devana. Devana brings clarity and it brings truth. It connects you with other dimensions. Now, I like Devana sparingly, okay? It is not my favorite oil. I like it. I don't love it. I use very little because I want the energy, that upper chakra, upper dimensional energy. But it will hijack a perfume and then all you will smell is Devana. So I'm literally, and it's also very expensive. So this is another one. All of the oils in this kit are very expensive. So save them. This would be great in a meditation blend. But I literally put, you saw me, like 2 drops. I still have almost the whole bottle. Yeah, if it's not for you, I feel you. It's not my favorite thing, but energetically, it's totally right for tonight. So it was in your kit, but not because I think it's the best smelling thing you've ever had. It's just too much for me. But now, if you put a little bit in, though, I want you to take a smell, because it actually will sharpen your neroli. Yeah, it'll sharpen it up. So it'll cut some of the sweetness, which can be really nice. Now, I feel like I may have put too much in, so candidly, I'm going to get my neroli back and add just a little bit more neroli. And that's why I'm telling you, be careful with Devana. You can always add, but you can't take out. It's like my grandma taught me with salt when you're cooking. You can always add salt, honey. You can't take it out. And I remember that. I'm like, oh, shit, Grandma. You know what? I've never made a recipe where I used too much salt because my grandma taught me right. Now, this is St. John's wort. This is your big, big, big magic. St. John's wort, the Latin name is Hypericum, which means over the spirit. Did you know that? In ancient times, this was an anointing oil for protection. And the ancient Greeks really used this consistently. They said that it brought the calm of angels' wings. And they also talked about this particular oil, as encouraging confidence. It helps to ease serious depression. It boosts self-esteem. It helps you recognize your value so that you don't let people take advantage of you. Now, I do like St. John's wort, but again, I don't want it to overpower my florals. So I'm just going to use the slightest little amount, and it's very, very thick. It's going to come out like a honey almost. But I do want the energy of it. Can you see how it's kind of thick? And so then you just want to gently mix, and it's going to make your perfume a little cloudy, not too much. You can see it's still clear. And oh my goodness, this is exactly what I wanted this to be. It's like smelling sunshine. That added a little bit of neroli was a good call because it started to smell like Devana, and I don't want that. And I can smell the St. John's wort, but it's not overpowering, which tells me I got enough of it in there for the energy, but you know, it's not going to become, I don't want it to smell medicinal, I guess is my point. I wanted this to be something that I would actually wear as a perfume. And if it's too medicinal, frankly, I just won't wear it as perfume. I like something that's a little more floral. So now let's add our jojoba. Now remember, you always do your EOS first, and then you add your carrier oil, not the other way, because you won't be able to get your blend right. You have to blend the EOS first, and then you add your carrier oil. And I got that right up to the top. I'm surprised I could do that, because sometimes with my MS, my hands get shaky. But they're very steady today, which is great. Okay, so my oils all have their caps on them because I'm notorious for knocking them over. Alexis would tell you how many times I've done that. Now, I'm gonna bring my perfume over here and talk to you face to face again. Isn't it pretty? Do you like the bottles? Like, my team would really like to hear that because we scoured the ends of the earth and had these bottles custom made. So these don't exist anywhere else in the world, and they worked so hard on them. So Team SG, if you're watching, huge kudos to you for these bottles. They're beautiful. Okay. I always turn it 3 times. I don't know why. And this will be finished tomorrow. You always have to let your perfume cure for 24 hours before you really know what the final product is going to smell like. But and I love that the perfume is gold and the cap is gold. It's like, it totally looks like the sun, doesn't it? So I'm gonna take my dropper, a little bit on my wrist for what I do, a little bit at my third eye for what I know, and a little bit at my ankles for where I go, without showing you my underpants. Sometimes I don't sit like a lady. And now the real test. You know what's cool? It almost smells like there's lemon in it, like sweet lemon, like a Meyer lemon, but there's no lemon, because that's the alchemy of the Helichrysum with that St. John's wort. It punches up this like almost like a slight citrus, but it's like a sweet citrus. Woo! Your St. John's wort is kind of, I'll show you what it should look like. Oop, wrong camera. So yeah, so if you didn't get that, then you need to let support know and they'll send you what you didn't get. Maybe somebody packed you up something weird. And so now this is your Air Element Anointing Blend. What can you do with this? Remember what the properties are. When your self-esteem is low, when you feel like you don't have clarity, when you feel like you've lost direction, when you feel depressed and anxious, this is your go-to. None of the other blends are going to have those exact properties because each one is different and the elements are different. Air Element Energy creates spaciousness for you to be and breathe and see and connect, right? And it shifts your perspective. It gets you out of the loop of your own mind. And because the oils in here have antidepressant qualities, this is going to be a real pick-me-up. So there's no timestamp on this, right? Yeah, your St. John's wort should be watery. It's not thick. Mine was not thick. So I don't know. I mean, it's blendable. It's not like a resin. So yeah, Alexis can help you. If you have questions about your oils, she'll be happy to help you with that. Isn't it beautiful? Do you like it? I'm so glad you like it. I love it too. So we have anointed, we have released and let go and called in. And now we are ready for the work of going down the rabbit hole together. Okay, you guys, so yeah, we still have some of the kits, so if you'd like one. We don't have a lot of them, but if you'd like one, we do have them. Your code today is GROW19, and then you get a free gift with purchase. You get your little kaleidoscope. Do you see that? So cute. So, and while you're there, if you are shopping, don't forget to get your Beltane tools for May 1st. Those are on the website today, and they are 3/4 gone right now. And I can't make any more because I don't have any more crowns, and I don't have any more candle holders. Like, I don't have more of the things. So if you want your Beltane tools, if you're on the website, you should probably grab that set too while you're there. All right, you guys, I'm touched. I love you. It was great to be with you for this little preview ceremony. So in 1 hour, starting at 6 p.m., we have Ostara ceremony on YouTube. from 7 to 8 p.m. right afterward. I'm not turning off the computer. We're just going to segue into the second hour called the after party, where I'm teaching about the crystals of renewal. Now, if you're very experienced, you may already know these crystals. I'm teaching aquamarine and Larimar and aquamarine, Larimar, calcite, two kinds of calcite, green calcite and Lemurian blue calcite. So you don't have to stay for the bonus, but I think it'll be fun. And I'm excited to teach you about the properties of the stones. So that'll be the second hour tonight if you choose to stay with us, and you're more than welcome and absolutely invited. I'd love to have you there. So I'll see you soon. Go enjoy your hour away from me. I'll see you live at 6 p.m. for our Down the Rabbit Hole ceremony. See you then. Big love, you guys.